Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Peace and Wisdom. Have you ever felt that strange feeling when you walk into a room and the atmosphere seems to change? Eyes that meet briefly before turning away, conversations that suddenly become more cautious. And you stay there, almost invisible but deeply aware of this palpable unease. Why are you perceived this way? Why does your mere presence seem disturbing, even without a word spoken? It's not because you're rude or rude. It's because you are different. And in a world that values appearance and conformity, this difference is scary. But in this video, we'll explore together why this difference is actually a blessing, and how Islam teaches us to deal with these misunderstandings without ever compromising who we truly are. This is not a criticism of your personality. It is a reflection of other people's fears and insecurities. We will demystify this reality and understand how to navigate these troubled waters with strength and wisdom. By remaining true to yourself, without giving in, and without letting yourself be carried away by judgments. If you have ever felt misunderstood, judged, or left out, know that you are not alone. In the next few minutes, we will approach these challenges through an Islamic perspective, helping you discover why being different is not a curse, but a path to spiritual elevation and true inner peace. Stay with us and discover how to turn these lonely moments into unshakable strengths. 1. Understand why people react the way they do. Have you ever noticed how your simple presence can be disturbing, even without saying a word? This feeling of uneasiness that floats, this tension in the air. You walk into a room, and eyes meet briefly before turning away. Conversations become cautious, as if your existence is a riddle they prefer to avoid solving. Why this? Why do some people instinctively seem uncomfortable around you? The answer lies in a universal truth. It's not you who's bothering them. This is what you represent. In a society where many flee reality, your sincerity acts like a mirror that reflects what they prefer to ignore. Your confidence reminds them of their own doubt. Your discipline highlights their lack of control. And your consistency in your values exposes the compromises they made with theirs. This silent confrontation has nothing to do with you as an individual. It concerns what they perceive in themselves through you. Think about the inner strength you carry. When you are anchored in your principles, this stability becomes a light but also a shadow. A light that attracts those who seek guidance, but a shadow for those who flee their own truths. The difference is that this light does not need to be blazing. She is gentle but unwavering, and it is precisely this stability that is disturbing. There is a reality that we must accept. Hearts and minds are not always ready for what they encounter. Just as a sapling bends under a storm it is not yet ready to face, many respond to your inner strength with judgments, misunderstandings, or labels. But this should not distract you from your path, because in these reactions, there are also lessons. This is not a reason to doubt yourself, but rather an opportunity to reflect on how you carry your light. The key in this process is not to try to please or appease. Diminishing your shine won't make things easier to accept. True peace lies in authenticity, in being uncompromisingly true to yourself. You were not created to follow the paths that others have made for themselves. Your path is unique, and the way you walk that road must stay aligned with your truth. So when eyes turn away or words seem judgmental, remember this. Your path is not meant to be understood by everyone. And it doesn't matter. For those who truly seek will understand. And for those who don't, it's not your job to explain your worth to them. Just keep moving forward. 2. The teachings of Islam in the face of incomprehension. In this complex world, misunderstandings are inevitable. But what matters is not what others say or think about you, but how you respond to their judgments. And this is where Islamic teachings offer timeless wisdom, a way to approach injustice and misunderstanding with dignity, strength, and patience. Imagine for a moment that you are a calm river. When stones are thrown into your waters, they do not change your course. On the contrary, they become an integral part of your path, contributing to the depth and richness of your current. This river is your faith, and your response to misunderstandings is what defines the strength of its flow. In times when you are misunderstood, the natural reaction would be to defend yourself, or fight back. But Islam teaches another way, a nobler way. It invites you to respond to evil with good, to transform hostility into an opportunity for kindness. It is not about weakness, but about an inner strength that transcends provocations. Because it takes much more courage to respond with kindness than to let yourself be carried away by anger. This approach is not just theoretical, it is deeply practical. When someone judges you, what are they actually doing? He projects his own insecurities, fears, or misunderstandings onto you. If you respond with anger or frustration, you are only reinforcing those negative emotions. But if you respond calmly, with measured and respectful words, you create a break in this circle of negativity. You become an example, a model, a living proof that faith does not bend under pressure. This does not mean that we should passively accept all criticism or injustice. No, Islam also asks you to defend your rights and not allow your kindness to be taken advantage of. But this defense must always be marked by justice and balance. You don't lower your head, but you don't raise your voice excessively either. Another fundamental aspect of this approach is introspection. When faced with criticism, it is sometimes useful to stop for a moment and think. Perhaps there is a truth in the other's words that you have not yet seen. Or maybe this review is simply an ordeal to test your patience and humility. Each interaction thus becomes an opportunity for growth, a way to polish the rough corners of your character. Finally, remember that your ultimate goal is not to satisfy the expectations of others, but to seek the pleasure of your Creator. This perspective changes everything. It frees you from the constant need for external validation. And in this freedom, you find a peace that nothing and no one can take away from you. So the next time you are faced with misunderstanding, remember that your reaction is an opportunity to express your faith, not only in your words, but in your actions. You are a witness to what it means to be grounded in a living spirituality, a spirituality that transcends human judgments and elevates you above misunderstandings. 3. Find strength in solitude and faith. There is a sacred space in solitude, a place where the tumult of human judgments cannot penetrate. It is not an empty or overwhelming solitude, but a chosen solitude, the one that allows you to refocus, to reconnect with what is essential. In a world where everything seems to encourage distraction, solitude becomes a silent resistance, an inner strength that draws its energy from faith. Solitude does not mean being isolated, but being aligned. Aligned with your values, your intentions, and above all, with your relationship with the divine. When you are misunderstood or misjudged, this solitude becomes a refuge. It gives you the clarity you need to distinguish what is truly important from what is trivial. In this space, far from the noise of opinions, you find your purest identity, that of a heart which turns towards its Creator. However, in this world where everything pushes for constant interconnection, being alone is often seen as a weakness. Nothing could be further from the truth. In solitude, there is a power that few dare explore. This power comes from silence, a silence that speaks directly to the soul. In these quiet moments, your thoughts become ordered, your intentions become clearer, and your faith strengthens. When you withdraw into this solitude, you learn to face the inner voices that reflect your doubts, your fears, or your hurts. These voices, although intimidating at first, become teachers over time. They show you where your faith is faltering and where it can be strengthened. This process of self-reflection is essential, because it is in these moments that you realize that the validation you seek is not from others but from Allah. In this quest, it is natural to feel moments of weakness, where loneliness seems to weigh more than it liberates. But remember that every trial in this world is an opportunity for purification. When you feel alone in the face of incomprehension, know that this feeling is also an invitation to turn more intensely to Allah. It is in this relationship that true companionship is found. You are never truly alone when your heart is connected to the one who understands you completely. Furthermore, this solitude is not an end in itself. It prepares you to come back stronger, more centered, and more resilient in your interactions with the world. It teaches you that strength does not come from the number of people around you or who support you, but from the quality of your spiritual anchoring. When your faith is firm, even if the whole world stands against you, you will not waver. Take these moments of solitude as a gift, an opportunity to cultivate trust in yourself and in your Creator. Let silence nourish your soul and strengthen your character. And when you return to the people, you will carry this light with you, a light that does not depend on anyone else to shine. 4. Being different is a blessing. In a world where uniformity is often valued, being different can sometimes be seen as a burden. But from the Islamic perspective, this difference is neither a curse nor a source of shame. On the contrary, it is a precious blessing, a gift that Allah gave you to distinguish you and enable you to play a unique role in this world. Islam teaches us that each individual was created with a purpose, a specific mission, and sometimes that mission requires you to go against the grain. You don't follow the crowd. You don't settle for what the world imposes on you as standards. You are called to be a living example of what it means to live by higher principles, even if it puts you out of step with the majority. This difference can be uncomfortable. It can attract judgment, criticism, and sometimes even isolation. But instead of seeing this as an obstacle, see it as a sign of the power of your faith. By being true to your values, you choose a path that is not that of ease, but that of truth, the one who leads to the satisfaction of Allah and not to that of others. Remember that the greatest figures in Islamic history have always been seen as different. They defied the conventions of their time. Their authenticity, courage, and conviction disturbed those who preferred ignorance or the status quo. Yet their differences have not been a burden, but a way to affirm their faith and spread a powerful message. Take the example of Islam itself. When the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, started preaching, he was different from the norm. He challenged the unjust systems of his time, condemned idolatrous practices, and presented a radical message of justice, compassion, and equality. This difference was not seen as a weakness, but as a strength, a force that transformed entire societies and left a timeless legacy. Likewise, when you stand firm on your principles, even if it makes you different, you are following in the footsteps of the greats. Your difference is a testimony to your faith, your independence of mind, and your desire to live in accordance with what is right. Islam reminds us that true success lies not in the approval of others, but in seeking the pleasure of Allah. Every trial you go through because of your difference is an opportunity to strengthen your connection with Him. Every judgment, every misunderstanding becomes an opportunity to show how deep and strong your faith is. Ultimately, being different does not mean being marginalized or rejected. It means being a pioneer. It means being an example to those who seek the truth, even if that path is difficult to tread. It is not up to you to conform to the expectations of others, but up to you to stay true to who you are and what you represent. In this world of distractions and conformity, those who dare to be different are often the only ones to blaze new trails, challenge old paradigms, and make history. So, embrace your difference. Do not see it as a burden, but as a blessing from Allah. This difference is what sets you apart, what makes you special, and what allows you to shine where others just follow the crowd. You are unique, and that is exactly what the world needs. Act with consistency and self-confidence. Constancy in faith and action is one of the most valuable virtues in Islam. In a world where external influences are constantly changing and the winds of popular opinion blow strong, it becomes essential to maintain a strong anchor in your values. True strength lies not in constant adaptability to the expectations of others, but in the ability to remain true to oneself and one's principles, regardless of the fluctuations of the outside world. In this journey, self-confidence does not come from the validation of others, but from the inner assurance that comes from your relationship with Allah. When you are aligned with your faith, you become relentless in the face of challenges and criticism. True self-confidence is not arrogance, but a deep certainty that you are on the right path, the one that is in harmony with divine teachings. The Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, perfectly embodies this constancy and confidence. When he was thrown into the fire by his own people, he did not tremble. Not only did he refuse to conform to the idols and erroneous traditions of his time, but he placed his full trust in Allah, knowing that his Creator was the only one capable of granting him protection and success. This trust in Allah not only preserved him from the fire, but also raised him as an example of steadfastness and faith for generations to come. Acting with consistency and confidence also means understanding that each challenge, each criticism or misunderstanding is part of the path you are destined to take. Islam teaches that life is full of trials, but that these trials are opportunities for purification and growth. They are not there to break you, but to make you stronger and closer to Allah. It is said in the Quran, "Don't be sad. Allah is with us." Surah At-Tawbah, 940. This divine promise is a beacon in times of doubt and struggle. Consistency does not mean the absence of moments of doubt or difficulty. On the contrary, these moments are essential in the formation of a strong and resilient character. Every trial is an opportunity to strengthen your faith and remind yourself that your trust should never rest on others or external circumstances, but on your intimate relationship with Allah. In solitude, in moments of apparent weakness, it is this confidence that carries you and guides you through the darkness. It is also important to understand that this constancy does not have to be static. It is dynamic, a process continually nourished by prayer, reflection, and positive action. Remaining steadfast does not mean remaining inactive or frozen, but it does imply constant progression on the path of faith, an evolution that relies on actions aligned with your deepest values. When you act with this self-confidence, you not only become a source of strength for yourself, but you also inspire those around you. You become a model of resilience, living proof that, even in the most difficult times, it is possible to remain true to yourself and your faith. And it is in this constancy, in this unwavering faith, that true success lies. So, you have understood that in a world where uniformity is often sought, being different is actually a blessing. Your authenticity, inner strength, and consistency are the keys to navigating through the misunderstandings and judgments of others. As we have seen together, every challenge, every misunderstanding is an opportunity to grow, to strengthen your faith, and to draw closer to your Creator. Remember that true strength lies not in the approval of others, but in your ability to remain true to yourself, no matter what. Islam guides us towards a measured response, based on wisdom and patience, in the face of adversity. It is this resilience that makes the difference and allows Allah's light to shine through us, even in isolation or times of doubt. If this message spoke to you, if you recognized yourself in this reflection, I invite you to share this video. Comment below sharing your thoughts or this dua. Ya Allah, grant me patience and strength to remain true to my faith and principles. And if you want to continue exploring more spiritual reflections and practical advice, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with those who might benefit from it. Together we can grow and strengthen our faith in a world that sometimes pressures us to conform. But remember, you are a living example of what it means to walk the path of truth. May Allah bless you and guide you in every step of your journey.